You're live, it says.
We're live. Hi,
We're live.
hello, hello. I don't know where I am in the frame because. Hello, ladies.
Where's the pig?
Oh, the pig. Oh.
Okay, the pig.
Here we talk.
Whoops. Oh, well. I forgot the pig. Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Explain what the pig means.
Oh, the pig means if you like what we're doing, you can support us with either the stars on Facebook or Super Chat on YouTube, and we appreciate the support because obviously if you guys aren't watching, we'd probably still be making cookies, but so do you want to check out the comments, Han?
Yes, I'm looking at the comments. Everybody's just joining in. Hello, everyone. June is here. We have Viviana. Hello, hello. Everybody's saying hello. Where is everyone watching from? We have Texas, Texas.
Yeah, I saw Sandra's here. Sherry's here.
And Byron. We can't forget.
Byron's here. Hi, Byron.
Oh, my comments are not coming. Oh, here we go. Here's Byron. I didn't see him. Hey, Byron. All right, so today we are continuing with our cookie lunch break, and Amber and Marlyn are going to decorate some creepy cookies for you guys. What are you going to make, Marlyn?
Well, today was the creepy theme, and I have to say, I don't know if any of you have seen my recent videos. I'm all creeped out, it seems. I was lacking ideas. I made some pretty creepy stuff. Pumpkins eating gummy brains and different zombies with worms and stuff. So now I was struggling a bit. So I was inspired by this, you know, the witch's brew bottles and stuff. So I'm going to make a jar of unicorn blood.
Ooh.
Is that creepy?
I think it's creepy enough. Unicorn blood.
Amber?
What about you, Amber? Can you hear us?
Yep. I'm going to make a creepy clown. Yeah, I feel like it's a little, I thought it was too scary, so I sent a picture ahead of time.
It's fine.
We're all not scary. It's fine.
I don't think we're going to be that traumatized.
So we have a lot of people joining in. Amy says unicorn blood, lots of exclamation points. Myself, Kunal. That went dark really fast. Oh, Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Jeremy. We did not forget. We have Crystal from Carolina. We have Netherlands watching. Antonio, San Antonio, Texas, Montana, North Carolina, New Mexico. Han, are you all moved in? Not yet. We are not, well, soon. Hopefully soon we'll be moved in. How do you give all stars? So the stars you can give on Facebook. On YouTube, you can give, what's it called, Mars? Super Chat. So on stars, you, in the comment section, you have an option. There's like a star where all the emojis are, right? And then you click on it and you can buy stars and donate stars to us. We get, okay, how much do we get?
$1 for every, no, 1 penny for every star.
Yeah, that's right.
1 penny for every star we get. And yeah, that's how you can give us stars. Hello from Uruguay. Hello.
Shop in our Amazon stores. That's the other option too.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can support us on Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the places.
Yes, all of us are on Patreon as well. Watching from Indiana, South Dakota, Dublin, Ireland. Hello, Long Island. So we have lots of people watching. So
awesome.
Byron says clowns are not creepy. They are really funny.
He hasn't seen your clown. He hasn't.
We have Washington. We have lots of people watching. So we can jump in, and Amber is going to kick it off today with her creepy clown. Oh,
right.
Excuse me.
So the first thing I'm going to do is just flood the base. I'm using a plaque cookie cutter. I like to use just like, the basic shapes that I have instead of cutting custom shapes or buying a new cookie cutter. I just like to kind of use, I'll use a plaque and then you can decorate that with any kind of design on there. So I'm going to just flood this.
Is this black? It's black, right?
Yep, I'm starting with black. I'm just going to flood the whole thing.
And guys, as always, if you have questions, you can post them in the comments. And I will read the comments to our ladies and we'll try to answer them to our best knowledge, to the best of our knowledge. Jennifer is watching from Canada, Egypt, Mexico, Idaho. I love potatoes from Idaho. Is it just me or is it freezing a little bit?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is it choppy? So when we, I might have to switch devices, maybe, when Marlyn is decorating.
How is the feed for you guys? Those of you who are watching on Facebook and YouTube, how is the feed? Are you seeing it? Is it smooth or is it being choppy like Amber said? Hello from Switzerland, Berlin. Do you ladies prefer to color black royal icing with cocoa powder or straight black food color? Lori is asking. That's a good question.
Oh, I just use black food coloring. This is Chef Master Black Diamond, I think it's called. And for this one, I really just need a few drops to get this nice dark color.
What is it called? Chef Master
Black Diamond.
Chef Master Black Diamond. I personally sometimes will add cocoa powder, only just so it gives it a really nice taste. But I don't add more than I usually, if I add it, I add 1 tablespoon per 1 cup of stiff royal icing. And it doesn't color it super dark. It just gives it like a light brown color. And then I add my I usually use super black by Emery Color. But I have used the one you are using today as well. That's a really good color. Do you use any cocoa powder in your royal icing, Mar?
No. Usually, you know what I do? My secret is my black icing is often the kitchen sink icing. So I just dump everything left over, all my random end of bags. And then that's already given it a lot of color. And then I just add, like, usually I just need very little black to up it to the black because it has already all that pigment in it.
Yeah, this is a good question following the black icing. So hello from New York City. Question about black icing. Do you tell people in advance that the black will likely color their tongue, teeth? I always worry about that. I really don't. I mean, it's pretty I don't personally. Do you?
I think most people know that if you're going to eat something with dark colors, like, when you're a kid and you eat a blue lollipop, your tongue turns blue. So I feel like, but I don't know, it's probably a good idea to say
yeah,
especially if it's for like a wedding or something, you don't want your guests.
I was gonna say, if it's a wedding and you're gonna have the picture taken, probably good idea.
And especially I think when it's airbrushed black, because that's even more of color that's going to go on their mouths.
So let me just show you, I don't know, is this still freezing for you? It's kind of
I'm watching it in the live and it's looking fine.
Okay.
All right.
It's fine. It's such a nice color.
But yeah, just let us know if it looks too choppy to you watching at home. Okay, so this has to dry overnight. And then, while that's drying, you're going to see how scary this looks.
It's not, I know this is not your style, right? But I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Right. So this is a template that I drew. I have parchment paper over it. And then I'm gonna use medium consistency icing to fill in all of the different parts of the face. So I'm using medium consistency, which just holds a soft peak. Just gonna get that on there because you want these to really hold their shape. So you just fill in all the pieces, use the scribe tool to help shape that. And then these also have to dry overnight. So you would flood your cookies and then do all of your transfers, let that all dry completely. And then you would take them. So here, these are dry. And then you just take these off. Like this one's already kind of falling off, so we'll just do that. Just carefully peel them from the paper.
We do have a question, and it was, where is it? How can royal icing stay shiny after drying?
Well, I dry mine in front of a fan, so that way it helps keep it shiny. Because if the icing dries very slowly, it tends to get dull. So you just want to dry it as fast as possible. And
yeah, I agree. I use a fan as well. I just discovered in this rental the oven has fan running without the heat, which is absolutely excellent.
That's great.
So that I didn't know there was a possibility, but I checked it and there was no heat, so that was really nice. So I just had the cookies that I was making in the oven, and it dried them nicely. Dalila is asking, or Delilah, I think it's Delilah, right? Sorry.
I think, yeah.
How to get a nice cookie soft texture. Mine are kind of hard, not extra cooking time. So
I use agave syrup in my recipe to keep them soft. So
I don't know if you are using granulated sugar. I would switch to powdered sugar if you want soft.
Oh yeah, that also
texture.
Soft, yeah.
And then agave syrup is Amber recommended.
Or
what
like
about you?
We were talking about last time doing the corn syrup or invert sugar, right?
Invert sugar, yep. All right. So what are you going to do now?
So now I'm putting my template on the cookie. This icing is completely dried overnight. And now I'm just going to use the scribe tool to trace this so that I know where to put all the pieces for the face.
We have a question from Jessica. How long should your first layer set before you do the next? Well, I think that I guess you mean the black layer. So Amber let that dry. She let that dry overnight. So it has to be completely dry.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to trace the eye.
I am not going to decorate any cookies today.
Oh, yeah. Haniela.
I had a question. I did decorate some cookies, but it's a very special project. I still don't have a lot of my tools. So it's like, for example, I bought a small handheld mixer and I set it on speed 1 and it's going so fast, like I could take off with it. So I had to mix my icing in a kitchen sink because the powdered sugar was everywhere, and I just don't have all the tools that I need. So I'm very limited to what I can do. We have a question from Chris from YouTube. Will a dehydrator also help them stay shiny?
In experience, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to leave them in there too long because it dries the icing, but it dries your cookie as well.
All right, so you get the idea of this. Let's move on to the other.
Byron has a question. Amber, do you always plan your cookies in advance?
Well, not too far in advance. So I kind of I'll draw it first, and then I kind of make it up as I go along how I'm actually going to do it. So this, I drew a sketch, and then just kind of, so this isn't really like planned. I'm just doing this now. I have all my steps out, but I don't know how it's going to turn out. So we'll see. Okay, so this is this doesn't have to dry overnight after you attach these pieces, but just let them dry a little bit so that they're not moving around. So now I'm going to flood the face. So these pieces here are just going to add dimension to the face. So you'll see what I'm going to do. So again, this is flood consistency icing. And then I'm not really worrying about the shape so much right now. I just want to get the icing on there as quickly as I can.
Jessica has a good question. Any tips for helping keep smaller details you make from cracking when you go to transfer them?
Yeah, so the ice, like if you're making transfers like I just did, you have to make sure that your icing, it hasn't been over mixed, because that's going to create a lot of air bubbles in your icing, which is going to make it very fragile. Also, if your icing is too watery, that could also make it too fragile, or if it's got too much food coloring. So it's really about getting your icing just right to make the royal icing transfers.
We have a question if we are all self-taught.
I mean, not really. I went to culinary school for baking, and I took the Wilton 2-week master class in 2009. But you know, that's a lot of just cake instructions. So I kind of just took what I knew about cakes and applied it to cookies, and just did a lot of practicing on my own.
How about you, Mar?
I'm pretty much, yeah, self-taught, watching, how Han and I met, we were in a cookie group, and so you're fueled by each other kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a cookie AA.
Yeah.
And so everybody would come in and answer each other's questions,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. And that's kind of like where, for me, it started, this group. Well, Byron, is that scary enough? Is it giving you nightmares yet?
I'm sorry, it's too scary, I know.
No, it's not too scary. It's
All right, so I'm just, I want to try to get as much dimension in here as possible, so I'll just take out a little bit of icing in some areas. So it's really just like, you know, working with the icing, kind of making it do what you want it to do.
This is a good question. Cynthia is asking, how do you know if you have too much food coloring, I guess, in your royal icing? How can you tell when royal icing is oversaturated with food coloring?
Well, I feel like you won't really know until it's time to dry.
Cynthia is asking, how do you know if you have too much icing? Did I just hear myself twice?
Yes.
You did, because I opened the frame here because somebody was saying it's choppy, so I just wanted to see it. I'm reopening the Facebook, but the volume was on automatically.
Oh, I see.
Sorry about that. So I'm looking at you on the other side to see if it's okay. So it looks fine on my end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a little choppy on my end, but you know, technology is not always perfect, and we're trying to do this from.
This is international.
International, very much international, right? I'm
in Canada, Amber's in the States, and we don't know where Han is.
All right, so dry. Let me just show you how that. This you would have to let dry overnight because I'm gonna paint this.
Amy says it's perfectly creepy. Amber, so spooky, love it.
Thank you.
This is in Spanish, I think. I don't know what that means. When Amber leaves her comfort zone, the magic happens.
Oh, yeah.
That's a birthday boy saying that. We have, where do you buy the food grade shellac? So somebody suggested that you can use PME, what is it called, Mar? Help me out here. Food varnish.
Yeah.
On cookies now. I personally wouldn't use it on cookies because it does when you read the label, it does say that it has to bend for a little while because there's something in it that it's not probably
Well, if I can just mention, the shellac in question is what coats M&Ms, what coats your pills. We eat it on so many other things. It's disgusting. It's made with bugs, but it is what.
Well, I have used it. I have used it on a caramel sale that I made, and it did help. So that was one use that I used it on, but I haven't used it on royal icing, and I have honestly no idea how it would behave on royal icing, to be honest.
This is if you want to start your cookie, and then we'll come back to mine.
Okay. So my cookie is a mason jar. I was trying to find something pretty neutral, so it's basically ingredients for witch's brew. So since I needed my base to be dry, I filmed this in advance. So it's just white icing on the mason jar. You can buy, they're available in a few sizes. If you're going to add a label and you want it to be big enough to actually write something, you have to get a relatively big cookie to be able to do that. And then
where did you get yours? Where did you get yours?
This is Anne Clark, pretty sure.
Anne Clark, yeah.
Not 100%, but pretty sure. And now the next tool, the cookies are completely dry. They dried overnight. And the next tool is a bag, a cello bag. And you can hear it's quite crunchy. It's a hardish plastic. This is what you would use to package your cookies. So I cut it to give myself 2 pieces. So I just opened it up basically. And then I'm not going to do it on camera there just for the sound, but I just painted the plastic. So this is my airbrush. And I'm just spraying on my airbrush. This is the electric colors. So when you're airbrushing the yellow next to the pink and the pink next to the blue, you're getting essentially like a bleed into the next color. So you're creating the orange and creating like the rainbow palette. So I'm going to get them here.
We do have lots of questions coming in. So folks, no worries. We will get to them. So I just want Marlyn to finish her bit here.
So here is the little plastic bits. So they don't need to dry or anything. These dried because I'm making it in advance. When we're filming live, there's always, it's a little bit, I'm going to zoom back out. It's always, the time thing. So next I've got in this here, this is a little spray bottle. And now you can buy travel cosmetics kits that you can fill yourself at. I've seen them at the dollar store. Walmart carries them, and they have these little kind of small misting bottles. And so in here is high proof alcohol. The alcohol is so that it dries quickly. If you use the water, it doesn't seem to create the same beading you're about to see. So now I'm going to spray the plastic with this alcohol, and you're going to see it slowly. I'm going to just pick it up so you can kind of see. Do you see like there's like bubbles that form here a little bit.
So you have like a little blood cells forming.
Yeah. So now I'm going to bring the cookie back in, and then you can pick which spot you kind of like.
Ooh, this is so cool. I love when you do something like this,
And then you're just gently pressing down on the plastic, and there you get the kind of like, it kind of looks cloudish, or I don't know, it gives it kind of the look of
unicorn blood.
Yes. And then the other thing that happens, if you look here, well, the edge of the icing is round, right? So it gives it the look of the edge of the glass. A mason jar is quite thick, the glass. So we'll do it one more time. And
are you going to do the airbrush now, or are you ready? I was gonna say like.
No, I'm not going to do the airbrush. So I'm going to put it in frame so you can kind of see it. So it's like that because I repainted the same plastic just to reuse it. And
so you use the yellow, pink, and
electric yellow, electric pink, and electric blue. And you see, like here creates the purple, here creates the orange. So I'm spraying it here, and you can see it really like the bubbles are forming. Let's put that cookie there. I'm just resting this on, and you can see each one becomes a little bit different. This is see that one's like if I put them next to each other.
You use a little more liquid on this one, right? On the one that is on the left.
You see? So you get, where am I going?
You're good. You're good. You're in the frame. Excellent.
They're slightly different, but it gives it a very kind of, I don't know, like a...
I see two snake heads, and in the right one. Does anyone see, or it's like a bird? I see a bird. I see a bird head. Oh, you moved it. Did anyone see anything like on the left side? The little thing. It looks like a beak and eye. I don't know. And then snake. So anyway, go on.
You can actually like repaint the same plastic and reuse it, and even like when they're not completely there's still pigment, depending how much you want on, you can reuse it, or you can
I have a question. How long in advance you can prepare these
plastics?
Yeah.
Well, you can prepare them like, a couple of days, but you need a place to store them, and they don't stack very well. They tend to get very stuck together. So they need to be laid one next to each other on a big kind of surface. They can't be on top of each other.
Okay, so you have to. Okay, so they have to like individually laid out.
Yeah. Whoops. So there.
This is cool. I like that.
So I'm just going to do one more thing, and then mine will have to dry. So the other thing that if you want to do, so this dries super fast because of the alcohol, but on this one, I'll do it for where's my pump brush? So I'm just... Okay,
do you have a second? Can we go through some of the questions?
Yeah, sure.
They've been coming here. So let's see if I can now find the questions. Okay, hold on. Because I scrolled a little too. So this was actually in regards to, I think this was, well, both of you can answer this. What inspired you to make these cookies? So Amber, what inspired you to make your creepy clown, or why did you decide to go with the creepy clown?
Well,
do you like clowns?
No. Last week, when Marlyn suggested that we do creepy, I really didn't have any ideas. So I Googled, I just typed in creepy Halloween, and that I guess the clown probably came up in there. So then I started Googling creepy clowns and decided to do that.
Okay, excellent. And you, Mar? I know you've done this technique years ago, so maybe you don't remember now, but...
Today's like the reason I'm making these cookies is I have like an inventory of baked cookies. And so I just wanted to use something that I had baked. I had planned on making mason jars for, fall, like a jam jar. And I didn't end up using them. So I thought I said, how could I use it? So I was going to put maybe spiders or something in it. But I said, that's kind of boring. So unicorn blood's very, unicorns are everywhere. So I just went with that.
We have a question from Esmeralda. I guess never mind. So she's asking what brand of food colors is being used.
This for me is Americolor. They have they have a little like a box set of their electric colors, and it's kind of they're nice. The electric set, it's I like it. You can see here that it gives it a very nice effect. So now I'm using Roxy Rich. It's like just a shine, and then I've got that on a furry brush there, and I'm just dusting on because we need glitter for the unicorn blood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely need glitter. Yes, I still see the snake, or I don't know. Nobody sees anything. I'm weird that way. I see things.
This one here for the point of this kind of what this is supposed to be. And then stencil wise, well, I make all my own stencils, so I don't have a store to direct you to. I will, however, have the art if you want to cut them yourself in my group. If you want the stencil.
We do have a question from YouTube. Ramona is asking, where in Canada, Marlyn? Well, Marlyn is Montreal Confections.
That's right, Montreal, Quebec. So I'm in Quebec. So I just so happen to be a bilingual Quebecer. Because here, for those of you that don't know, most people speak French. All right, So now I've got my little stencil and I've colored the icing just slightly. I figured this was kind of like the color of those labels. And I'm using scrap plastic. And so the piece is small. I'm trying to stay in there. So you can kind of center yourself and spackle that on. Kind of like how you would fill a hole in the wall with the spackling product there. Cement, spackling cement.
Mm-hmm.
And there's the little label. So I'm going to do it on all of them so they have time to dry. And then once they're dry, I'll be able to airbrush the little unicorn. You can pipe it, and ideally your icing has to be a certain thickness to hide the rainbow underneath. And you could do the label in black too, but then you'd have to stencil the text. So if I'm working in a lighter, I can airbrush, but if I'm working in a dark, I can't airbrush them. It's not as easy to airbrush light colors on top of a dark icing.
If you haven't airbrushed before, airbrushed, stenciled with icing before, you might want to try using either magnets or even a stencil holder, right? To keep the stencil from moving if you're not experienced like Marlyn is.
Well, it's because it's so small. You know, I'm using just a piece of scrap plastic, and so that's why I'm not using any kind of holder. So yeah.
Amber, if you see any questions that I'm missing, because there's, go ahead, please.
So then that's it for right now. If you want,
Oh, can you recommend? This is a question. Can you recommend? Sweets Mama Kitchen is asking from YouTube. Can you recommend an airbrush machine? We get this question a lot, or you get this question a lot.
Well, it's in my Amazon store. This is probably my favorite plug-in unit. You can find this for about $50. The hose that comes with it is usually, if you look, it's a fabric like coated with like cording. A lot of them come with just a rubber hose, very chintzy. And the other great thing about this one is it turns off when you're not using it. Usually the cheaper models stay on and make a racket. So this one is my favorite plug-in unit. And it, like I say, like $50, $60, very affordable. And then this airbrush gun, this is the wireless one. This is also like $45. If you're starting, you do not need to get super high. Here's what I want to say. The expensive doesn't make you good at airbrushing. A $500 machine doesn't make you good. $40 does the job. I saw a guy paint a picture with
I love how passionate you are about the airbrush. I just love it.
True, though. I saw a guy once paint a gorgeous picture with ketchup and a French fry. So
okay, let's do the next live. Oh, you're so funny. Well, anyway, yeah, here Marlyn is an expert, so hear her out.
So that's it. So those are great beginner machines, and they'll do the job. You just, if you want to get started, and then if you want the $500 machine, go for it.
Absolutely. I wanted to say thank you, Esmeralda, for translating the question from Spanish. It's much appreciated. We have a question. Do you hand cut your own stencils, or do you use a Cricut machine?
The Silhouette is my preferred machine. The Cricut is, I don't own a Cricut, but from what I've seen, Cricut requires you to be able to work with SVG files. Not everybody is familiar with Photoshop, whereas Silhouette, you can draw in black marker, take a photo of it with your phone and drag it into the Silhouette program, and they'll cut it. So it's a very user-friendly for those that aren't super able to work with graphic programs, you know.
Okay, another question for you, Mar. Sandra is asking, Marlyn, what was the alcohol that you used to spray the plastic?
Here it's like a 94 proof, just some alcohol that they have here in Quebec. I mean, I have it.
Okay, we have a personal question. Judith is asking, where is the lady from Quebec located, please? So she's in Montreal, folks. She's been in Montreal ever since she started Montreal Confections. When did you start? 10 years ago?
Oh, Montreal Confections was before it was a YouTube channel. It was a cake. I used to sell cakes and cookies. So it's been around since my daughter was 5 and she's 18. So it's been, it's been a little bit.
We have a question for you as well, Marlyn. What size sheets do you use for your stencils?
I usually buy the 12 by 12 inch, the big ones, and then I just cut them depending on what I want to do. And I get the 0.004 thickness. The other ones, yeah, that's what everybody kind of uses, the 0.007, but they're too thick. And the machine needs to pass over like 4 times before they cut through. Whereas the 0.004, it's one pass and you're done. So that's the plastic.
Hey, Mar.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to switch to my other phone because I think I see it as choppy, so I'm going to switch. So,
you want me to go?
Yeah, bye.
Okay, we can. Well, I have questions we can answer as well.
Yeah, just answer some questions and then.
So instead of airbrushing, is Mar there? Instead of airbrushing the colors, can you paint the gel colors on the plastic? Mar!
I just
go in. Like,
wash my.
Where are you? You wandered away from the camera. What's going on?
I'm sorry, but you know what I was thinking about this technique for those of you who don't have an airbrush, and I think you know what would work is markers. So if you have some, food grade markers, I think that might be an option.
Do you think they would stick? Do you think they would stick on the plastic? Well, there is only one way to find out, right?
Exactly. So here's the.
Or you could. You know, I'm thinking if you have alcohol, you can get a couple of those spray bottles and then add some. Oh, you're using in the marker? Excellent. She's going to demonstrate this right away.
This is green, and then here I'm going to put some orange. My orange marker clearly is done, but.
I'm thinking if you could actually make your own like a full, edible paint where you dilute some gel in alcohol. You strain the gunk. Usually you get like gunk in it. So you first mix it, then you put it in a spray bottle and you use that to spray the plastic.
Yeah. So I think it would work with the marker. Look.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't have a cookie to try it on, but I really.
The only thing is, like, you can let it, like, if it dries, use a little bit of alcohol to activate it again, I would say, right?
Spray it. You just respray it.
Yeah, you just respray it, exactly.
But I think the marker is an absolute option. So, and the Americolor markers for painting are my favorite. Like, they're the ones that have, like, the most kind of paint-like tip. They add a lot of pigment.
Is that the Americolor?
Yeah, the other markers.
I've had those for 10 years at least, and they still go.
Yeah, see, this is a fat food doodler. It'll do the job. A fat food doodler. Yeah, because food doodler comes in two. They've got the kind of like a really fat tip ones, and then they've got the more thin ones.
Yeah, the regular size.
Yeah.
We did have a question about the cookie dough that I saw about how to make the cookie dough a bit softer. So in regards to that, there was a question about powdered sugar. Susan is asking, so if you substitute powdered sugar for regular sugar, by regular we mean granulated sugar with little crystals to make softer cookie, do you have to adjust the measurements? Yes, I think yes. I use 3 cups flour and 1 1/4 cup powdered sugar. That's the ratio I would use when I would make it just with powdered sugar, and then you use a cup of butter and your flavorings and yep. All right, so hopefully that will answer your question. You can also add cornstarch. That tends to help when you're using granulated sugar. It makes it a bit softer. All right, so Amber is back with her creepy clown.
Yeah, I think it's better now, right?
I think so. Why is that? Do you think it was your phone?
Yeah, I was using an older phone, so I think it was like acting up or something, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. So I've got a variety of powdered food coloring here. I mean, it's not really powdered food coloring that you would add to icing. I use it for painting. So these are Wilton Color Dust. And then I'm also using Crystal Colors.
Crystal Colors Black Coal.
Yeah.
Excellent. And these are all food grade, right?
Yes, these are all edible, like FDA approved edible.
Mm-hmm. And now you're adding alcohol or water?
Alcohol.
Alcohol. Is that vodka, the one you used last time?
Yep. It's 151 proof vodka, so very strong.
Excellent in decorating, isn't it? It's like your best friend when you're painting.
Yes. So like I said before, I just kind of, I'm making this up as I go along. So, but I paint on cookies a lot, so I kind of have an idea of what I'm going to do here.
So you haven't done this before? You haven't painted?
Design, no. So we'll just start by adding some shading around the eyes.
So just, Amber, can you lock your camera because it's focusing on your hand?
Yeah, I'll just keep my hand up.
Yeah, that's, I mean, if you can do it this way, yeah. I don't know if it's probably harder this way. Sometimes we have to film at these weird angles. It makes it difficult to paint or decorate. So hopefully it's not too difficult. So how did you learn how to paint? Did you take a class, or is it just you're just so freaking naturally talented that you just pick up the brush and boom boom?
I'm just I mean, my mom is a painter, so she, I've definitely
Did she give you any tips or?
No, but she encouraged me to do it all the time. So I grew up with a lot of art supplies around the house. And then she would, sign me up for art classes and all that. So, and I never really, I don't really like to paint on canvas or paper, but cookies, for some reason, I enjoy that.
So the vodka was 150 proof?
Yeah.
Or you can also use Everclear. Everclear it comes in different proofs, right? The highest was 151, and I think they come in lower proofs. But I would say use clear alcohol. Don't use alcohol that is tinted or anything, right?
I used to use Bacardi 151, which has a little bit of a color to it.
Does it? Okay.
I never had an issue with that, but it's not very dark,
Bacardi. Okay, I'm posting this in a comment, so hopefully you guys can see it. What can you use to make your real icing taste soft? Now we had this question on our last live as well. I would use a little bit of corn syrup, or you can also try Invert sugar, but corn syrup is available everywhere.
I think use glycerin.
Glycerin, yeah, ice, yeah. I wouldn't use too much. I don't know, per batch made with 2 pounds. I would add about 1/4 cup. But then if you're using icing that you enhanced with the corn syrup, it's not really ideal for piped flowers and stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But for flooding, it would be, I've never tried it myself, but I would think for flooding, it would be good.
Yeah. This is getting creepier by the minute.
Yes.
Oops. Amy says. Not creepy at all. Amber, last week you painted shading on a pumpkin cookie. Did you use a paste or liquid coloring, and what shades did you use?
That was liquid. I used a mixture of Chef Master sunset orange and navy to make the shading on that pumpkin.
I can mention though, the lives are always left there. So if you want to rewatch them, you can, if anybody's interested, we've been doing lives for a few weeks now. They're available on all of our pages. There's like a live stream playlist. You can go and watch them. So if you're curious about that pumpkin, you can go and see it.
Yeah, you can see our first lives as well,
yeah.
where we were struggling with everything, keeping the feed up, right? Like we were getting disconnected all the time. It's been, what, 6 months now? We started in May, maybe?
Oh, well, it's been a Corona fiesta is what it is.
Yeah. But it's great because we get to chat with the girls, and otherwise we would, right? The live goes on, but if we have a live, we make a point to meet and
yeah, exactly.
we get to check on each other because it's been tough for everyone. And try to move during the pandemic, folks. Don't try this. If you don't have to, don't do it. Okay, so we do have a question. I used Absolute Vodka and gel food coloring to paint, but it remained tacky. Then later it bled. Would higher? Oh, it's moving up. So comments sometimes when they come quickly, they start moving up, so I can't read them unless I pin them onto the screen. So I used the Absolute Vodka and gel food coloring to paint, but it remained tacky, then later it bled. Would higher alcohol help with better setting?
I would think so, or it might just be that you didn't use enough so that the color might have been too thick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
So I would try even making it thinner with more alcohol next time.
If I can make a little suggestion, airbrush color, even if you don't have an airbrush gun, airbrush colors, you have a lot of pigment, but you don't have any of that clumpiness and that kind of like gelatin to it. So if you're painting with that, it tends to dry much drier than the gels once. And then after, if you still have trouble, you can kind of dust it with a little bit of cornstarch to kind of absorb that last bit of moisture.
Linda is asking, Marlyn, is your silhouette machine in your Amazon shop?
I think.
And I'm going to check Marlyn Confection's favorite tools. I don't see it here.
Oh no, I thought I had put it. I was sure I had put it, but we have to create an Amazon store for Canada. We have to create maybe I put it in a different country.
So I don't see it. I mean, unless I'm at the. So we will try to add it after.
Yeah.
Or if you come join us next. What's today? Today is Tuesday. Friday, we will add the links because I only have one link to Marlyn's shop on Amazon, and I don't see it there unless I'm,
If
I have 4 eyes, but I can miss things as well. So.
I can jump on this one here. Julie, I don't use white airbrush color because you're right, it's terrible. I use actually Wilton. They have a white food gel that they sell to whiten buttercream from the yellow.
Oh, is that what you use?
Yeah, to airbrush.
Oh, for the airbrushing, and do you don't dilute it?
No, usually it passes through, and the more you dilute it, the less opacity. So I use that to airbrush.
Excellent. I think I threw it out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, I'm not gonna use white to color buttercream. I can just use some purple.
Wilton's food grade. The airbrushes. Well, all airbrushes, the gun is stainless steel. It's not a question of food grade. Stainless steel is stainless steel. I mean, they're selling pretty much.
Obviously, if you airbrushed your little car toy with some toxic paint, I wouldn't use it the same.
Yes, it will. Yes. Anybody want to give that clown a kiss? Okay, He's like, it's the thing of nightmares, eh?
Yeah.
Yes, I have posted Marlyn. So although it says Marlyn, it's actually Hani who has a recipe for the invert sugar on her blog. Thank you, everyone. Invert sugar recipe. Post a link so you guys can check it out. I love it. I've actually, you can make it. It takes an hour to make. I have to say, it takes a while to cook. But it's so smooth, and it's actually something that is used in ganache to make it smooth. It's used in chocolates. Some of the fondants will have it. One disadvantage is that it over time, like it took about 6 months for it to crystallize, like fully crystallize in the fridge. You have to cover it well, and then it's very thick. Once it's refrigerated, it's very thick. So I had to microwave it for a little bit to make it more fluid, so I could then measure it. But I love using it. Jennifer, I've always been scared of clowns. You know the dolls? What are the dolls called? You know those scary dolls? It reminds me of your clown. What are those dolls called? There's a name for them, isn't it? Mar, do you know what I'm talking about?
Raggedy Ann, she always creeped me out.
He's cute though, I think, in a way.
I'm scared by thing.
Is he gonna have blood on his teeth or something? I don't know. Like I'm expecting something to jump out of his mouth.
No.
Loving the clown.
So I'll just keep painting, and Mar, if you want to continue.
Well, mine is, the rest is short now. So I'm just re-putting the stencil that I used back on the cookie to protect it. So stencils can be used as so many things. You can use them to add guidelines. You can use them to add designs, but also to protect your cookies. So now I'm going to airbrush, and I need to protect the surrounding area. So I'm putting it back on so that the color I'm going to add doesn't get on my pretty rainbow. So I'm just holding it there in place. We're going to see if my airbrush works. Before, when I was kind of trying to maneuver the wires, I kind of dropped it on the floor maybe.
Oh, your airbrush?
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe you can put a review. It's really, really, really resistant.
Well, after you check them across the room. All right, so I've got the brown in here now. So this was kind of like a ivory-ish, and now I'm just hitting the actual plastic, and then it kind of bounces off like the edge and gives you just a little bit of brown on the actual icing. So it's just to
this little detail. It's everything, isn't it?
Well, it gives it just a little bit of a vintage kind of look, right?
Yeah, it's like the burned, like burned look kind of. Yeah, yeah. What a difference!
And so I'm going to do that on all of them.
Now, if you don't have an airbrush, Amber, do you think you could get away with using the powdered? I know you like to use that for the antiquing.
Yeah, I'll show you what I did earlier today.
Well, I think cocoa powder would work.
Well, I find cocoa powder is not really coloring royal icing as much as I would like.
Well, you don't have the cocoa powder I have then.
Okay, here we go again. What do you have? Like I've tried so many different cocoa powders. Like it's not, unless icing is a little rough, then yes, if it's a little porous. But if it's super smooth, I find it hard that it doesn't really color icing as much. But you have to send me your cocoa powder then.
Well, it's the one I used last week there to do the fingers, whatever, when we did the witch fingers.
Oh, I see, the witch fingers. Yes.
Yeah. So now.
Okay, Amber, I'm gonna interrupt you. So Amber was gonna say that she used you could use the
yes.
Yeah, you see the edges. So if you don't have an airbrush, you could use.
This is golden chocolate bronze kind of a color from Crystal Colors. So this is just like dry powder that I use to do that effect.
Okay, Mar.
So now let me switch them back. So now it's the other stencil. So stencil making is a little bit of a thing you have to learn, because like let's say a letter has a middle like a O, well, you need to have parts of that hold that middle part in. So they're called bridges. So that's something that you can kind of find on YouTube if you want to learn how to make stencils. But this one, it'll be in the group, and I'm just able to quickly.
And Marlyn, I'm going to interrupt Marlyn because Marlyn is referring to her Facebook group. She has a Facebook group where she teaches all her cookie tips and tricks to her loyal fans. I'm going to quickly find the link to your group, and then I will post it into the comments. So folks, because when you refer to the group, a lot of people probably don't know what that means, what kind of a group. So I think I have it. Let's see. So it's Montreal Confections Cookie School, and it's in the comments. All right, you go.
So it's just black on top. And this was just done like with you guys before, and it's already dry enough that I can just gently rest the stencil on. And you know, you could pipe it, but you're never going to get this perfection. Like, it's just so small. You can, but you're going to need to be piping it with like a 00 piping tip. And if you're making a lot of cookies, I mean, I like the stencils. It's everything's the same. You can work fast, and then you can really do, if you want to add details, it can be other stuff. Just because you're stenciling a small part of the cookie doesn't mean that you haven't, you know, poured your heart out into it just the same. So it's just for your sanity. And there. So now I've done 4 in like a minute. There we go. And I've got now some purple thick icing. And you know the mason jars, they have sometimes the pretty ones. When you go like to the farmer's market, they add like fabric to it before they put the lid on.
Mm-hmm.
I do that on the edge.
Oh, this is interesting. Debbie says that edible zinc dioxide mixed with alcohol, you let it sit for a few days, shake to dissolve, and it makes bright white. Well, the oxide is in all the, isn't the oxide in all the food colors, or all the like powders that we use? I'm not sure. Oh, porcelain dolls. Yes, that's what I was. Harlequin dolls. Yes. I have a fear of clowns, and now I'm going to have a nightmare.
Sorry.
I think it's. We hope not. He's so cute. Okay, we have a good question. This is Veronica Marchakova is asking, why is alcohol with my color? I guess the alcohol evaporates too quickly, so she never has time to work with like it. Well, it depends. Like, are you painting with it? Like, are you using a palette like Amber is using, or are you adding any alcohol as you're painting, Amber, to your palette?
Yeah, I mean, I have not yet, but eventually I will have to. Yeah, it does evaporate very quickly. I added a lot to this palette.
So the alcohol does, depending on the alcohol you're using, and also your like the temperature. I guess I don't know. It could probably affect how fast it evaporates.
Yeah, I think so.
I try to. Nila is saying, I tried to make Italian buttercream. It was like water. I followed the recipe. Now I make buttercream, Italian buttercream. I've made Italian and Swiss, and you, Amber, as well, and I'm sure Marlyn as well. I think it's a common thing that happens, that it looks like it's water.
Yep.
But you just usually, I mean, sometimes you have to let it. Either I would sometimes, if it was like when I thought it was beyond saving, I would stick it into the fridge. Like literally, like, okay, I'm done with you, and forget about it for about 30 minutes, and then you'll see butter is kind of, you know, firming up a little bit, and then you start beating it and it comes together. Or you just keep beating it until it does come together.
Yes.
Right? Usually it does. But if you feel like it's like literally like soapy texture, I would stick it into the fridge or freezer and then beat it again. Sometimes though there are bad buttercreams days. There are.
What'd you say?
Bad butter, like you have a bad hair day. There are days that are bad buttercream days. So I would give it another try. Definitely, don't give up. Jeremy, hey you all. I'm starting to worry about Amber.
I'm gonna put this cookie outside when I'm done with it, so it's not.
On your. Oh my goodness! You should put it on your door.
Oh no!
Like,
I'm gonna add. I'm using edible ink markers over here, just so you know what's going on.
Yeah.
Food decoration.
Mm-hmm.
So I just use these for very small details.
So Wolfs is asking, is it okay to use new makeup brushes rather than artist brushes, or are there other food safe brushes?
I just used artist brushes, and then the Wilton decorator brush set.
I love that set. Don't you love that set?
Yeah.
The 5 brush set. It has like a purple hand. They all have like a purple handle, see-through handles. I love that set.
I think as long as you're not using it for like real paint or real makeup, then you just have to have a dedicated food coloring set of brushes.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to use your acrylic or oil paints with on your cookies.
Well, paintbrushes often are just made like with animal hair and stuff, and I mean, you wash it. It's no different than any kind of like a cosmetic.
How do you wash your brushes? I think that's a valid question. Do you soak them in water, or how do you make sure that you wash them really, really well?
I mean, I try not to soak them because it tends to ruin them if they're soaking. So I just do soap and water, and then
soap and water right after you're done painting.
Yeah. I mean, I'll put them in the water for a few minutes, but don't let them soak for hours.
Yeah.
If I can add to that, you can have a small like mason jar with high proof alcohol in it, and you can give them a dunk in that to kill any germs.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then you just close it up, rinse it out, obviously, but you can have it there. Like some of the paints, like certain of the like food, those edible paints there, you know what I'm talking about, the high-end stuff, like $12 a bottle there. Those often don't even wash off with water. You actually need the alcohol to clean them. So
that is true. So don't drink your alcohol. Make sure that you have some extra for the brushes.
Yeah. And that's why I just put it in the mason jar, because if every time you just pour it down the sink, it gets expensive. And
look, she's doing the hair. Oh, now it's getting really creepy.
Yes.
So yeah, I like the idea of having the alcohol in hand, and you can rinse off the color. Now we do have a question. Denisa is asking, how ahead of time can you bake? How ahead can you bake your cookies? I guess how much time ahead? So when can you bake cookies? Do you have a breakdown of your process? Let's say Amber or Marlyn, like you have an order December 3rd.
Yeah. So if I have a large order, like I don't take orders anymore, but I still do cookies for my Patreon subscribers. So I do, if I'm doing 50 cookies at a time. So I can make the dough ahead of time and even cut out the cookies and freeze those raw. And then when it's time to decorate, I'll bake the cookies right from the freezer. They don't need to thaw out before you bake them. And then, so, you could do that up to 3 months in advance. And then decorate the cookies, let them dry. Once they're dry and they're heat sealed, they'll stay fresh for up to 4 weeks. So you really have like a lot of time to work on them. And that, you know, that depends on the recipe too. Like I said earlier, I use agave syrup in my recipe, so that helps keep them, it keeps the moisture in so that they don't get super hard after a while. Okay, I have cooked myself out with this cookie. I think it's done. What do you think?
I think it's awesome. Everybody is loving your clown. They are saying it's not, it's cool. It's not as creepy. Well, some of people say it's borderline creepy. Look at that black hair.
Pair it with some red balloons, and it's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Your cookies are amazing. How do you wrap your cookie dough cutouts when freezing? Casey is asking.
Just in plastic wrap. So I would put them in the freezer, like flat on a tray with parchment paper in between each layer. And then you let them freeze, so like an hour or something. And then you can stack them without anything in between once they're frozen. And then just wrap all of those together.
How long do seal cookies last?
3 to 4 weeks, depending on the recipe.
Yeah. He's fantastic. Amber, it's amazing. Perfectly creepy. I love the unicorn blood. Very creepy, but great art. Amber, it's done.
Okay.
Brackets. Adds 8 more details.
What's that?
That's Jeremy. I have to post it.
Oh, let me see.
This is you know how you said it's done and then you keep adding more stuff to it. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm.
If you used cream cheese in your cookie dough, would it change shelf life?
What do you think? I don't know. I've never tried it.
I don't think so. I've used cream cheese in vegan cookies. I don't honestly. I don't think so.
You put cream cheese in a vegan cookie?
I'm not vegan, gluten-free. Sorry. Pardon me. I take that back. Can you erase it from the life? I take that back. And then gluten-free. That's what hydrates the flour. Gluten-free flour. It's so coarse and sandy-like. So the cream cheese does help with the texture. Good catch, Mar. Good catch. I would get tons of email that I don't know what vegan is.
Yeah.
What is heat sealed? Now, heat sealed is when you use a little gadget that has like a Teflon tape, and you can put your bag on the Teflon tape, and it has like a little ramp, I would say, and then it basically melts the plastic and seals it. It's called heat sealer, right?
Yeah.
And they sell them on Amazon. I think I have them. I have it listed. Oh, she's adding more details now. I have it listed in my Amazon shop.
Oh, here. I have a little battery power.
Do you have one battery? Yeah, usually they are. Yeah, you have to plug it in. But Mara is going to show you what the battery one looks like. See?
And so
it's like essentially it's like when you're vacuum sealing, right?
Yeah. So you just move this there, and then this little steel kind of melts the plastic, and then no air can get into your.
Yeah, it does make a difference when you are decorating cookies. But I see you are using a bag with adhesive there. You can also get those.
Yeah, locally, this is the ones that I would always like. These are the ones I could find. So I would sometimes just cut that off, depending on my order. But I don't also take orders anymore, so.
Do you still make them for people though?
No,
Oh,
no, I say that. Well, my kids over, like they, you know, all their friends. I was the cookie lady, and of course they had cookies for every holiday at school and stuff. But now, you know, they're teenagers, and I'm embarrassing.
oh, yeah.
So,
That's already starting with my 3-year-old. I'm embarrassing.
but at least I have some credibility, because when he says, "Oh yeah, my mom's a YouTuber," oh yeah, how many subscribers does she have? More than.
Okay, we have a question. We're gonna wrap it up soon, folks. Question for Amber. Your icing recipe calls for more meringue than most. Why is that? Now, we did talk about this last week as well. So if you want to answer that question.
Yeah, so it's like double what a lot of recipes call for. So the extra meringue powder just gives it more of a an elastic quality. So it's easier to work with. It's doesn't run off your cookies as easily, and you can also do you have more time to do wet on wet technique when you have that extra meringue powder in there. Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, and I think that I like this comment because we can also use it to wrap up today's live. That's how we kind of feels about the lives as well.
So let's just next week then. So next week on Tuesday, we'll be doing cute. And then Amber's day to shine here. This will be her day on the 20th.
Mm-hmm.
This is her, I think, for me, that's what I think about when I think about your style, if I had to use a word.
Yeah.
So that'll be on the next 2 Tuesdays, and then we'll, I guess, roll out Thanksgiving. But for everybody's FYI, Thanksgiving this weekend for us Canadians, we get a little bit of a break in between holidays. You guys crank them out, boom, boom, boom. We have a little bit of a break.
I just wanted to say, Jackie, yes, we have a question. Jackie, yes, you can rewatch the video. It's in all the lives. I think there's a tab, right? Tab that says live videos on Facebook on each of our pages. So you can find the video there. All the lives are stored there, and you didn't miss anything. We just won't be there to answer your question if you have a question. But we will try to answer the questions on Friday and next week as well if you see any new questions coming under this video. So
we got mad people again. Look, there's a mad emoji. What are we doing?
There are 3 mad people. We are very sorry, folks.
Sorry.
I think it's time to wrap it up, and we will see you on Friday. Have a good day, girls.
Bye.
And bye, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.